everyone, and welcome to another video. Today we're going to go ahead and review a fragrance that was released in the year 2002. The fragrance is one of my favorites. I have still not reviewed it despite it being on a bunch of my top 10 list, and that is Yves Saint Laurent's M7. Now M7, again, 2002, it's been out a while. Before I even begin this review, I want to say that this is the vintage version. So there are two or three possible versions of M7 that are running around that do smell different from one another. So this review is focusing on the vintage version of M7, and that's the one that I actually have. Now, available in two main sizes, a 1.7 and a 3.4. The 1.7 is going to run you about $55 retail, and the 3.4 is going to run you about $70 retail. Those prices have an asterisk on it. The problem with those retail prices is it's really hard to find the vintage version of M7 around. If you're looking for that. If you're looking for the vintage version, expect to pay upwards of like $300 for the 1.7. It's hard to find, and there's a big price markups. If you look on eBay and etc. sites, you're going to see it marked up for that price. That said, I've seen people have some success with going to normal places like a fragrance net or something like that, and having to get the vintage version rather than the reformulated version. So it's worth a try, but it's not a guarantee. So just keep out and just be aware of that. Now, the fragrance was actually created by Tom Ford back in 2002, and let's get right into the notes of this fragrance. The notes of this fragrance consist of, we've got our top, rosemary, mandarin orange, and bergamot. For our mid, we have agarwood, or oud, and vetiver. And for our base, we have amber and musk. So this is a fragrance where art meets wearability. A lot of fragrances, I feel, tend to fall into this rut where the fragrance smells great, but it's just not something that you would wear. An example of this for me is L'air du Désert Marocain. That to me is such a fabulous scent from Andy Tower, but I have trouble actually wearing it and applying it because it just doesn't really smell to me like something that I would like to wear in most scenarios. That doesn't mean that I can't wear it anywhere, but it's a little bit harder to wear. This one goes in the other direction. This is a scent that I feel is a very artistically done fragrance, but at the same time it's very wearable. You can wear this out, especially this is a great dinner scent, it's a great night out scent, it's a great date scent, and it can even work as a work scent. It's a very well-performing fragrance in that fact. Basically, this, I think, was one of the predecessors and one of the fragrances that really started the oud craze. I wasn't there in the fragrance game in the year 2002 in earnest, so I can't really comment on that for sure, but I've seen posts and seen people talk about how this was the oud that started it all in the mainstream kind of game, if you will. So this oud is, I wouldn't say it's the most I hesitate to use the term realistic of ouds, but what I mean by realistic is animalistic. Most ouds have this really animalistic quality, this really raw, earthy quality that gives it that oud smell. It kind of has a little bit of a medicinal twinge, but this, it's almost like oud safe. It has a little bit of the oud and it gives you a little bit of mysteriousness coming in from it, but at the same time, it doesn't jump in with both feet. It still remains a little bit subdued on that, and I think that might be a little bit because of the citruses that are in the scent. But the following up note that you can also smell along with the oud is amber. The amber gives it this sweet warmness to the scent that really persists. So it becomes warm, it's inviting, but at the same time very mysterious, which is a really nice quality for this fragrance. The other thing of note is that the rosemary note is really what I think is giving it that mysterious tinge. Rosemary really isn't used in that many fragrances that I've worn, and so having it in a fragrance, I could definitely pick it out just because rosemary is something that I tend to cook with at times. And at one time, I had like this rosemary oil that I used to add at sometimes to some of my dishes, and that's what this reminds me of. And the other thing is also comes off as pretty dense or something that's concentrated, if you will, but not too. I go about 2 sprays with this fragrance because the performance on this is great. You're going to get about 8 hours with this one, and it's going to stay a little bit closer to your skin, but don't let that fool you. People will smell you as you pass by because it leaves such a great sillage trail. So 8 hours on my skin, solid performance, very dense. It's a fragrance that I think you should wear for the fall. Fall is really the key season, and that's the season right now that I'm actually enjoying this bad boy fall. This is a fall scent through and through. You can wear it in almost any other season, but fall is really where this one specializes in. I think this is a great fragrance if you are an older gentleman, especially. If you're younger, it may not necessarily be for you. It may have a little bit of an old man vibe to it, but I've never quite agreed with it. I love it. It does well on me, and it garners compliments. This is a compliment getter for me. It's one that is, despite the fact that it's low to the skin, a lot of times when I have to get up close to people, that's when they'll smell me and they'll compliment me on this one. My fiance loves it. My co-workers love it. And I've had complete strangers like this one as well, too. So a compliment getter at that M7, fantastic, M7 vintage, that is. So if I'm going to go ahead and give this fragrance a rating, I'll go ahead and wait for that train a little bit, although it's going to take a while. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and give this fragrance a rating, a 9 out of 10. The only reason that this fragrance does not get a 10 out of 10 is the fact that the vintage version, the one that I am reviewing, is so hard to get, and it costs upwards of $300. If you can get this for $70 or $55, whatever the retail price is, this easily becomes a 10 out of 10. But because it's a little bit harder on that, it drops it down to a 9 out of 10. But other than that, for a dark fragrance, it's easily wearable, it's a compliment getter, it's one that does fantastic in most scenarios that you can actually think of with it. Fantastic night out fragrance, and one that you could even wear for the night out in the summer is what I was trying to say. As long as it's not too hot, I think it'll do perfectly fine with it. Great smell, easily wearable, and again, somewhat versatile. So if you have any questions whatsoever, please let me know. Leave a message down below. Let me know what your experiences are on M7. And here's another thing. If you have the reformulated version, let me know what you think the difference between the reformulated version is and the original version. Fortunately, I don't have the reformulated. I saw no reason. I had this and I was completely satisfied with it. All right? Thank you guys. You guys take care of yourselves and have a great day.